Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Kira Love, and today I have some beautiful women on to share with myself and you guys some really just beautiful stories about how we have gone from women who maybe didn't know our way in life, weren't really living with passion and purpose, to really lighting ourselves up, living with absolute inspiration, but also finding our financial fitness. And we named this Zoom today Women in Financial Fitness or Financial Intelligence, because we are so incredibly passionate about helping women build their own financial security. And we're going to share some stories about why we feel this is so important. For me personally, I started out before this business as a stay-at-home mum, and I would never change that for the world. I'm so grateful for, having that ability to stay at home with my kids. But at the same time, I was lacking in passion, I was lacking in purpose, and I really sacrificed a lot of my confidence and self-worth and my ability to create my own financial security in that role. And I also had a story for many years, and let me know in the chat if you guys relate. I had a story for many years that the finances was a man's responsibility. And I really disempowered myself with this story and disempowered my future, and left myself in a lot of uncertainty with that story. So this business allowed me to step outside my comfort zone and into my confidence. It allowed me to build my net worth without sacrificing my most important value of being that stay-at-home mum. And as my net worth increased because of this business, my self-worth dramatically increased. And I was able to create financial freedom. And what I've learned along the way is to do away with all of those crappy stories that so many of us are raised with, that having financial freedom is a bad thing. For me, I get to live life in accordance to my values now, which means being fully present with my girls. It means saying yes to the things that really light me up and no to the things that don't light me up. And I get to help so many people, whether it be through this business or just in everyday life, because I have the time and the financial freedom to do so. And we're so passionate about sharing this gift with so many other women, helping them find their voice, their self-worth, and their financial independence. Now I am an independent mum, which came as a surprise to me several years ago. And again, if I hadn't had found my way with a business model like this, I honestly have no idea how I would have landed on my feet. And, this isn't just about mums, this is about giving women security. And I know so many women feel the same way, because I used to come across them even before this business, women that just didn't know their passion and purpose and way in life. And I want to share some statistics with you guys, which are so important and so powerful. And it's so important that we don't think that these stats are about every woman but ourselves, because you just don't know what the future holds. So 1 in 2 marriages end in divorce, and often women are the primary caregiver, and they become responsible for the financial well-being, or she becomes responsible for the financial well-being of herself, and if she has children, her children also. 80% of women who are under the poverty line were not there before they were married. So that says a lot about the disadvantages that can come a woman's way if she does find herself in a situation like this. Now, why is that the case? Because women's retirement income is less than that of men, because women are away from the workforce to raise their children on average 14.7 years, opposed to men who are at 1.6 years. So again, if we use my story, 8 years I was away from the workforce, 8 years of not earning any superannuation or any income, and really leaving all of that power and certainty in somebody else's hands, right? And so with women living on average 7 to 10 years longer than men, yet they're surviving on a superannuation payout that is third of the average payout of men. So currently that average sits at 37,000 for women and 110 for men. So there's a huge discrepancy there. And obviously we never get into a relationship or a business or a job expecting it to fail, but you just never know when divorce, disease, debt, and even death, you know, obviously it's not a nice thing to talk about, but you just don't know what the future holds. And it is so important that we take back our power and we create some certainty and take some control over our own financial destiny. So I want to switch gears a little bit and share, you know, what the foundation of this business is. And then we're going to hear some incredible stories. And I know that these stories are going to resonate with you on some level. And if they do, please just reach out to the person who sent you this link and just get your questions answered, because we're just a beautiful, supportive community. We're here to help raise people up and help them step into their greatness and find their purpose, their passion, and just create a life that they love. So for me, it would be 10 years ago now, which, wow, 10 years ago now, this amazing product called Juice Plus came into my life. And I am incredibly passionate about health and nutrition because I had many years ago in my early 20s, I had a health crisis, and I was going to the doctor for about 2 solid years. I'd go to the doctor routinely with more symptoms, and I would get more prescriptions, and I'd get more symptoms because of the prescriptions, and I just wasn't getting well. And something just snapped inside of me one day, and I started doing my own research. And it dawned on me that it was my own lifestyle choices that was causing my illnesses. And therefore, the thing that would heal me would be changing those lifestyle choices. And so in a matter of months, I was able to heal my body in a way that over the years, I wasn't able to get healing, you know, using conventional medicine. And so this changed the course of my life, and I started studying nutrition and fitness, and I entered the fitness industry. And so I was approached by people with different products all of the time, as you could imagine. And because I was so passionate about the power of whole food, because I healed my body using whole food, it really resonated with me to only use products that had a foundation of whole food, because that's what our body recognizes and absorbs. That's what Mother Nature has provided for us. And so when I was presented with Juice Plus, it was really one of the only products that I felt a strong resonance with. And I went away and did lots of research, because that's what I do before I put anything in my body. I want to know the ins and outs of it. I want to be able to wholeheartedly trust it, to give it to myself and of course my children as well. And I was just blown away by what I found out about this product. It is the most researched nutraceutical on the planet, and it is made with whole foods, which was a big tick for me. And what I loved is, you know, there's no health warnings on the label like a lot of synthetic supplements around pregnancy and breastfeeding and, you know, what age you can take the product. To me, that's a huge red flag when it comes to supplements. And so I started trying it for myself, and of someone who already had a really good foundation of nutrition, I was just blown away by how it made me feel. I was blown away by the results that I saw with my girls in particular, and how many more fruits and veggies they were choosing to eat. And yeah, we just as a family had such great results. So I want to share a little analogy that, you know, really why I find this product so appealing compared to other supplements. If you take a simple apple, right? An apple has over 400 key nutrients and about 10,000 phytochemicals in it. And they're all in this magical synergy, right, of Mother Nature, a synergy that science is still trying to unlock, right? Which we can't fully fathom the power of Mother Nature. And so when you take a synthetic multivitamin, it might have a handful of key nutrients in it that we have discovered thus far in science, but there are thousands that we haven't. And so what Juice Plus has done is it's taking 30 different fruits, vegetables, and their berry varieties. So we have this broad spectrum, all of the colors of the rainbow, which is also key for good health, having variety. The produce is grown without herbicides, pesticides. It's tested multiple times to make sure there's no contaminants, which is really, really important as well. And it's picked at its peak ripeness so that all of the nutritional value is there. It's then dried at a really low temperature, and the water content and almost all of the sugar is gone with that water content. And what you're left with is those thousands of phytochemicals that our bodies need to thrive. And because it's from whole food, our body recognizes it and absorbs it in a matter of minutes. And we've got studies that show that. And it's active, it's alive, it's encapsulated to keep it alive so that the oxygen doesn't damage it. So, you know, it bridges the gap. It's a really effective way to bridge the gap between what we are eating and what we should be eating. So that's what the business is based on, the foundation of these products. We also have our incredible vegan chocolate and vanilla protein powder, which is loved by families around the world as well. And again, just a really great way to bridge the gap. So the first person that I'm going to get to share, I actually met because she was one of my very first customers. And this is when I still was not going to do the business. I just loved the product so much that people started asking me what I was taking because I was in the industry, and I started referring and recommending, and people got such great results that they actually started asking me if they could be a part of this. And Jackie was one of them. She got phenomenal results, and she reached out to me and wanted to be able to share it also. So Jackie, I would love to hear, you know, what is it about this product and this business that, you know, excites you, and how has it changed your life?
Thanks, Kira. Hi, everyone. So I have been with this business and these products for 6 years now, the longest I have managed to give myself any kind of wellness makeover. And I really started the business because I came from a place of personal pain, of lacking in confidence. I did not have any strong self-worth. You know, if I saw someone out, I would pray they would walk to the other side of the street just so I didn't have to engage in conversation with them. My view on business and being successful and having wealth come from two parents who are incredibly hardworking but had no lifestyle. We did not have downtime at all when I was growing up. They traded time for money. And it wasn't until all of us kids left home that they discovered that they could sit on the couch and recharge and not talk about business and watch some Netflix. We all had to leave home before any kind of relaxation happened in our home. But their view on wealth was a very traditional view. You had to work extremely long hours. All you did was breathe and live and talk your career or business. And it didn't sit well with me. I began my career in teaching, and I loved being in the classroom, but I did not appreciate all of the stuff that went with it outside of the classroom. When I had my first baby, who is 7 years old now, pinch me, I just wanted to be home with her. I didn't want to rush back to the classroom. And then we moved. And for me, on an anxiety level, on a fulfillment level, the idea of starting in a new school really scared me. I wasn't prepared to do that at all. I knew I had to do something though, because I was just fading into that role of a mother. All I did was talk about what Livy ate, whether she'd been to the toilet that day, whether she had slept, what new fun things she had done, which still is my highest value being a mum. I have been a stay-at-home mum for over 7 years now. I have 2 other babies, and I have raised this business while raising my babies alongside of it. But I knew for me to unleash that girl who had been sitting inside all those years and never really been given permission to be myself, to have my voice, to be passionate and strong-minded and just wild. I knew that I had to find something that was for me, and then I could do that. I wasn't sure whether this thing that Kira had me doing, this health program, I didn't know whether it was really the thing it could be. But within my first month, you know, I had ticked off my first goal, which was not glamorous. It was paying for my grocery bill. But that gave me permission to dream again. It gave me permission to see what this could be for our family. And it gave me permission to invest back in myself. My business journey has gone alongside a very, deep healing journey, healing old stories, the inherited stuff that we get from our families, and just healing that confidence and that confidence in the wounded child inside. And that's what this business has given me, the ability to create security for myself and for my family, and just to know that I am worth the dreams and the goals and the vision that I'm creating for us. And nobody out there is going to come and do it for me, that I have to take, control of that myself. So I came into this business not knowing anybody else doing it. This is so different to what, everybody in the rest of my life is doing. But when you step outside of the norm, you need to find support people. And Erin, who I'm going to ask to share in a moment, was that person for me. We both started our businesses about the same time. And compared to a traditional career where it's competition to climb the promotions, this is all about collaboration. So we are not in each other's business as such, but we have held hands and supported each other, not only through business growth, but a lot of our personal stuff as well. So Erin, I would love for you to share, what this has created for you as well.
Thanks, Jackie. Hi, everyone. My name's Erin. I'm a mum of 3 from Melbourne, and I've been with this beautiful community for just over 6 years. So I'm so lucky I get to work with these amazing women every day. So when I started out, I was a customer of Kira's. I was a tired mum, and I really just needed some help with my health. I was getting to 3 o'clock in the afternoon and eating a chocolate bar. I just wasn't feeling how I wanted to be feeling. I've always been healthy, but it just wasn't me. So I spoke to Kira, got started on the program and the products, and I had really great results with, first of all, my energy levels and also weight loss. So I started to just get back to me, I guess. I lost the baby weight I'd been carrying after having my second baby. I lost that weight, and I was just feeling so much better. So people were really starting to ask me about what it was I was doing. So it was a very natural progression into the business. So I started to find out a little bit more about the business. But at the time, I was running a traditional business with my husband, which meant that basically our life was just working all the time. We worked all the time. If we were on holidays, we'd be dealing with emails and work dramas. I was working, in labor while I was having babies. It was just crazy. I was trying to just do everything. I was so stressed out. So I really didn't have time to take on something else, but I really loved what this was all about. I could see from a financial point of view how this could really start to help change our family's life, and how I could start to help and impact so many people. So I really just started to build my business around my kids. I would spend a little bit of time here and there through the day when I could, working on my business. And I was able to build my business up to the top of the company in about 15 months. So by that time, I was earning around about a 6-figure income, which was something I'd created in my spare time whilst I'd had my 3rd baby during that time as well. So I knew for me that there was no other way that I could have created an income like that without having to go and, get a full-time job, which I definitely never wanted to do. Being a business owner myself, I couldn't see myself working for someone else, or I would have had to get some other qualification, or I would have had to do something else. But this allowed me to really grow that amazing income around having my kids. I could be a businesswoman and look after my kids, and I was able to step away from my husband's business, which meant that I could focus on this. I can do the things I want to do. I get to be there for school pickup and drop off every single day, and I get to work with and help so many other women to do the same, so they can be at home with their kids. And one of the things I think was really powerful that we found last year, and I guess now this year, being in Melbourne with the lockdowns, was that the income that I'd created through this business was so stable that I was still getting paid every single month a really, really solid income while I was homeschooling my kids. I wasn't able to put as much time into my business as I would have normally liked, but we really had no choice being here with the lockdowns. And, you know, we had 7 months in lockdown, so I couldn't focus on my business as much, but I was still getting paid this amazing residual income every single month. So I just learned really the power of that, and the power of seeing so many people, you know, having struggles with finances and the challenges around, you know, COVID and everything, that we were able to have this amazing business behind us supporting us. And really the other thing, I guess, is just that this allows me and all the other women to be a mum and a successful businesswoman, that you can combine both. And I think that's one of the things I love the most. So I'm going to hand over now to Kirsty, who is another mum here in Melbourne that we've become really great friends through these challenging times. And I'd love to hear your story now, Kirsty.
Thanks, Erin. And yes, it's been definitely for sure one of the highlights for me joining this community, particularly coming out of lockdown, being able to lean into and have the support of other, you know, really inspiring and successful businesswomen too. So my name's Kirsty, Melbourne-based mama, got a little 2-year-old. Before I was a mum, I had another business. So I had my own marketing company for 10 years. And yeah, I suppose within that time that I had that business, I had a very successful company. But the truth was that success meant that there was a lot of sacrifice. And in the time that I was running that business, I really reached a point where those sacrifices were starting to take a really big detrimental toll on my mental health and my relationships and my personal life. And I suppose, I was really burning the candle at both ends. Running that business, although the money was phenomenal and my career was always one of my highest values, I was really burning the candle at both ends, working 70, 80-hour weeks. And it just ended up getting the better of me. So I closed that business. I then had a little dabble in the corporate world, and then I became a mum. And after I became a mum, it was, you know, obviously the greatest gift of all. And I absolutely loved being home with my son. But I certainly reached a point, and I'm sure a lot of mums can relate. I speak to so many women about this. I reached a point where I really was starting to feel lost. I was starting to really feel like I had lost myself before. I forgot who Kirsty was before I was a mum. And, you know, previously to becoming a mum, I was this entrepreneur, go-getter, driven, ambitious. Career was always one of my highest values. And that's how everybody knew me. And it's like that as the story goes. You know, a conversation I have with lots of mums about, it's not, one of the hardest things is not getting to know your new baby, it's getting to know the new you. And that was something that I really struggled with. So I knew it was time for me to do something new and to, you know, get back into work mode. I had lost that intelligent part of myself, but I really didn't want to go back to the long hours, being out the door when it was dark, home when it was dark, and miss out on everything. As a mum, my dream was always, and I always knew that I wanted to have another business when I became a mum. But the truth was, it was scary. I didn't know where to start trying to come up with all of these ideas. So when I kind of came across this business, what I had seen was a lot of women on social media who looked like they were having all of this success, but without the sacrifice. They were, you know, they looked happy. They had all, you know, they had this community, and they were doing it around their kids. So I lent in, I saw an event very similar to this. And when I started to hear these stories, it was like this instant desire, this instant flame was reignited within myself again. I felt like I came back to life. So I lent in, I started, and what I've absolutely loved is the fact that I've been able to start another business, but it has been a global business in a box that I've been able to plug into. The products already exist. The company already exists. We get trained and supported to be able to start our own businesses, which has just been incredible for me. I know from traditional business, you can't exactly go and ask the business owner up the road in your industry what they're doing and ask for their tips. They're not going to share it. But that's been one of the most beautiful parts of this business for me, is that having the support of other successful women go before me, raising me up, training me and supporting me to be able to create an income around my sons. So what gets me excited is the fact that, when I can build a business and create financial independence for myself now whilst I have one child. So when baby number 2 comes along, I don't have to not just give up the finances and the career again, but I don't have to go through that pain of losing my identity again. And I can still feel like I've got something just for me and I'm contributing and have my own success, but I've been able to do that without giving it all up. So I'm going to come over to Kimberly now. Kimberly was the lady that I had been watching along for many months before I lent in. So Kimberly, thanks so much for having me share.
Pleasure. Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Kimberly Wildman. And before starting this business, I felt like a hamster on a wheel, just going round and round and round, feeling very trapped and capped in the same work week, the same schedule, the same stress, and also the same challenges repeating themselves over and over. And I just thought that was normal because everyone around me seemed to be doing the same thing. I was working in corporate public relations for a national agency. My husband, Ben, was running our traditional business 60 to 70 hours a week. And our 3 children, all within 19 months of age, had basically just started their schooling years, and they were having to do like after school care, vacation care. And it just felt like life in the fast lane. And the fast lane for us, it just wasn't the fun lane, because we were only seeing the kids for a few hours of an evening, and Sunday was our only day together as a family. And there was just really no such thing as holidays and things like that when Ben was running the business. So despite all of the hard work and the long hours, it was like this gray cloud, or like this knot in our stomach getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because 1, we just weren't living life in accordance to our values, and 2, it wasn't propelling us forward financially. The working hard, that alone just wasn't delivering on the dreams that we had really aspired for. And in fact, not only had we stopped growing, we started going backwards and we started spiraling downwards in debt. So working harder and longer, it wasn't the way for us. We wanted to start working smarter. But I was a huge skeptic. I'm actually laughing right now, and I know Kira has a giggle whenever I say this, but I was like the biggest skeptic of this profession for so many years. When I saw Kira dive into this, I was like, here we go again, right? Another one of those people doing another one of those things. But I could also see her growing and evolving and just igniting that next level of freedom and abundance in her life. And she was just, beaming with purpose and passion. And she was surrounded by this beautiful community that was obviously, a really big support network as well. So that was enough for me to kind of take my skeptic hat off and just lean in a little bit. And you know what? Just get my questions answered. And the main questions that I had was, is it one of those things? Is it one of those pyramid schemes that, your grandma talks about? But I realized that they were illegal, right? They went out in the 80s. This business vehicle that we have is an online franchise. And Juice Plus is the vehicle. It's been around for 50 years globally and 23 years here in Australia. And I don't know about you guys, but if you've run traditional business in Australia, they have some pretty strict business guidelines. So if there was anything dodgy about it, they wouldn't be operating here for that amount of time. The other thing that I had kind of going on in the back of my mind was, with that pyramid scheme set up, does it mean that there's like one person at the top that makes all the money, right? And I'm just this little worker bee. And when I took a look at the compensation plan in this, I could see this beautiful equal playing field. Yes, there are always going to be people making a bigger income, But that's not just in this profession, right? That's in any business profession. In my old corporate career, there was the account coordinator, there was the account manager, there was the senior account manager, there was the account director, there was the CEO. So if you're doing more and there's more responsibility, yes, you are going to get paid more in this space. But what I love is in this profession, everyone comes in and everyone has the same compensation plan and the same blueprint system to follow. If they want to go all the way to the top, go for it. If they don't want to and they want to stay as a social ambassador, great. But there is an equal playing field. My next question was, you know what, do I really want another business? Because after our traditional business of 8 or 9 years, it hadn't delivered on our dreams. I was a little bit nervous about starting another business, to be honest with you. But what I could see in this was it allowed me to be the business owner without all the boring stuff, without all the administration stuff, without all the giant overheads, without having staff. I could just set myself up from home, be coached and mentored, enjoy community and connection, and not have to do any of that stuff. And by doing that, it allowed me to create more contribution, more impact. I could spend more time doing the things that I loved in this space. I really built this to a point where I built it. I was able to step into this full time a couple of years ago, but I built this business to that point by working full time in corporate with 3 kids and hubby running the business. So the beautiful thing was, even though I didn't have a lot of time, I could run this in stolen moments throughout the day. It was time for me to kind of ditch Netflix and Suits and actually do something that was going to allow me to take some ownership of that next chapter in life that we were really craving. So achieving our goals in this profession for us meant finding a new home for us as a family. It meant finding financial alignment and growth. And I was able to quit the corporate life and do this full time and buy back time with my kids and my family, right? But most of all, this has allowed me to grow my worth, my belief, and my confidence in something for me again. So the beautiful business vehicle that we have, you know what? It's proven. It's proven. It's been around for over 5 decades. You get to join a mission-driven community. You get to link arms with this beautiful company that is the biggest company with the biggest heart that I've ever seen in business. And you get to be part of one of the fastest growing professions in the world and industries. The health and wellness industry is predicted to reach $7.5 trillion by 2025. We are in the middle of a health crisis, right? There has never been a better time to empower yourself with your own health, but go out there and help other people and inspire others as well. And I'm really big on this profession now. I am such a proud promoter of this because social selling, or social sharing as we call it, it's a new age business. And I looked at a stat before, there's almost 480,000 Aussies alone in the profession of direct selling here in Australia, which is huge, right? So I love now, like all these other women on the call today and any of the partners that invited you to tune into this or watch the recording, we're just so inspired to pass this gift on now, to pass this on to anyone that is just maybe looking for a casual passion project, that might be looking for added job security, that might be, a mum looking for a way to stay at home with her children, that might be for someone wanting more passion in life, the millennials to be able to do whatever they want, for people that might want to retire early or have something that they can retire into that they love. And as Kira said at the start of the call, just create some financial empowerment. We're also in the middle of an economic crisis, and there has never been a more important time. So if any of this speaks to you today, we really encourage you to reach out to the person that shared this with you. And just like me, go and get your questions answered. Don't be afraid to do that. And just know that, you know what, for things to change, you've got to be the one that makes the changes. If you're feeling that fire within you, then it's your responsibility to take ownership of that and take ownership of your next chapter in life. So my why in this, I had to let my why be so much bigger than my why not. And I hope that maybe that just empowers you today to listen to that fire and listen to your why as well. So a huge big thank you to all of our speakers, to everyone that's joined us on here live or is watching the recording. And we look forward to seeing you inside this beautiful community very soon. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone. Have an amazing afternoon. Bye.